Welcome to the Geekcentric podcast, and welcome to our watch club for She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. Wongers! Welcome to Watch Club. My name is Nate, and this is our watch club for She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, Episode 4, titled, Is This Not Real Magic? Directed by Kat Coiro. If you're joining us for the first time, well, this is Watch Club, our weekly review series, kind of like a book club, but way better. Keep in mind, we will be going into full spoilers for this series and the MCU in general, so if you haven't watched this week's episode yet, be sure to do so, and then come right back in a snap. Now, before we all swipe right on Matcher, let me introduce you to the other Hulksters joining me in the courtroom this evening. First up, he's Kevin with 2 N's and 1 Y, but it's not where you think. He's Kevin Hudson.
Honestly, I want to party with MADISYNN with 2 N's and a Y so bad.
She's the best. She's the best. Sitting on trial next to him, he's ready to dismiss the deliberation of the deposition given by the defendant of the defenders. He's Darcy, the dank devil Hudson.
Yeah, I would definitely be down to party with her too. Plus, how did she survive so casually in this other realm? Very tough lady.
We're going to get into that. I've got some thoughts and theories around that specifically. We'll chat it up for sure. But guys, last week I asked you guys what you would use your Hulk powers for. This week I want to know, and Kevin, I don't want to get you in trouble. I know you're a married man, but I want to know if you saw Hulk on Matcher, would you swipe right?
Man.
Would you swipe right?
If you know anything about me, you know that my phone would break. I'd be swiping that hard. Oh, yeah.
Whoa, okay. Amazing. Darcy, how about yourself?
I mean, probably out of curiosity, just to get to know the person behind the Hulk.
Yeah.
I don't know. A bit intimidating, though, for any relationship. I mean, who knows how in control of their strength they are, you know. Intimate moments could become very life-threatening. You'd
have to test the waters there. I think for me, I'd absolutely swipe right. I think as intimidating as it can be, Hulks can be incredibly helpful, as we've seen in this series already. And I'd feel so safe with my Hulk partner around me. And I mean, I would have to get to know them past their Hulkness. I think, seeing them as a Hulk is just, green skin deep. And so I'd want to maybe learn a little bit more about them before kind of committing to anything. But I don't know. I wouldn't let them be, the fact that they're a Hulk, I'm not going to I'm not going to have that keep me from finding true love. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Like,
it's very accepting of you.
Yeah. I just want a beautiful,
Plus, you want a woman to
just
wrap you in a blanket and swaddle the hell out of you. Yeah.
I'm okay with being the little spoon sometimes. Let's go. All right, folks, listen, grab a drink, maybe some vodka and yak's milk, and put the phones down for now, because court is now in session with the Honorable Judge Nate presiding. Let's get into the story here. This week we jump right into an unfortunate display of cheap human tricks as Donny Blaze takes to the stage, doing everything he can to wow an audience who looks like they're bored out of their skulls. That is until he calls upon the incredible and incredibly intoxicated MADISYNN, who joins him on stage as he does the thing and uses a sling ring to open a portal behind her. We then cut to Nepal, hearing Woke Up This Morning by Alabama 3, the theme song to The Sopranos, as Wong jauntily dances over to the couch, ready to take in Season 5, Episode 12 of the show, until he's interrupted by MADISYNN, who's portaled in holding a heart in her hand. And after brief questioning and having her spoil The Sopranos for both Wong and myself, thanks a lot, MADISYNN, Wong surmises that it must have been Donny Blaze. Okay, guys, so only 4 minutes into this episode, and I can already tell you it's my favorite one so far. What did you think of Donny Blaze and the introduction of MADISYNN?
I love the idea that, in this world where we are so accustomed to magic, the people living in this world are as well real life magic. And so I can't imagine who would buy a ticket to what we know is, staged magic, especially of a lesser, magician. And so, I mean, these people got what they deserved for even being there. But then it is fun that, his reluctance, he wants to be known for his sleight of hand magic and not relying on, actual mystical powers, especially because of his relationship with those mystical powers. And so I just think it's a really fun spin on a magician in this world and how they would be viewed by people with everything that does go on with actual superheroes and magic wielders.
Yeah, I also feel like it's kind of almost a tongue-in-cheek naming too, with the name Donny Blaze. At first, I'm like, do they say Johnny Blaze? Thinking
Right.
Ghost Rider. So like, just like Marvel to be laying these things that are like kind of nodding to things that they know we want but aren't giving them to it. And again, the introduction of Madison with a Y is just incredible. And like I said, I want to get to know her more. She seems like a really fun person.
Oh my gosh, dude. I will say with Donny Blaze, I thought, yeah, he was great. He's played by Kat Coiro, who's actually the husband of the director for these past 4 episodes, Kat Coiro, which is really, really funny. We actually heard about that in I think in Justin's interview. He's such a fantastic parody of Chris Angel, right? Like, you remember Chris Angel, like, doing the floating and everything, and like he's got the black eyeliner and the bee on his necklace, and also I noticed a dead bird skull that looked very Khonshu, I will say. So I'm wondering if, the mystic arts is not the only sort of magic that he's been delving into, but he's one of those characters that's just so much fun to hate. Like, the fact that he refers to William Shakespeare as Billy Shakes is just awful. It's just terrible. And yeah, dude, Madison is the VIP of the episode for sure. Patty Guggenheim did such an incredible job with this character, and I literally started looking back, and I'm like, she's in a series called Florida Girls that I instantly want to start watching now, just to see if she's anything like Madison in that series as well. And yeah, I'm just hoping that, if I ever decide to watch The Sopranos, that I'll forget about the spoilers that she drops this episode, because I was like, no, wait, I feel like that's a really big deal for folks who've watched The Sopranos, and especially for me who hasn't.
Absolutely, but I forgive her. I don't know where Miss Guggenheim came from, but she was just instantly A-okay with me. It's funny, Madison reminds me of a character from Parks and Recreation. The character is played by June Diane Raphael, named Tinifer, so that's with 2 N's and 2 Y's. Although Tinifer is just the worst human being ever, whereas Madison is just so lovely, so amazing.
Yeah.
So quite the opposite. And she's kind of that Tinifer attitude taken to 1,000. I just love her confidence and her she's so cool. She seems just so lovely. Yeah. I just had a smile on my face every time she was on screen. I really hope we see more of her in the show going forward.
Oh, I just want to see
now
her
that
more
she's besties with Wong. I mean, I really hope so.
Get her in the MCU in general. Travel across the multiverse of Madison. Like, let's go, dude.
And,
I want that
she can handle
series.
it, man. She's just nails. Like, nothing seems to phase her. I love it. And I don't know if it's because she was getting a little, what did she say, browned out? I like that she's not quite blackout drunk. She browned out for a bit now. I'm going to steal that one, I think.
Yeah. So good. So
yeah, I mean, I'm questioning again how she survived in this other realm, because where did the heart come from? Why is she so cool with everything that's happening to her? Like,
didn't she mention a
so many
sacrificial
questions.
goat? And she's making deals with demons.
She's dropping blood drips. She's dripping her blood out. We're gonna get to that a little bit later in the episode. I want to kind of hone in on that a little more. But let's get back with Jen here. Jen calls out Wong being back in the show, and I love that she calls it Twitter armor, because it really is, and it's just so fantastic that the show is able to recognize, even before it came out, like how Twitter would react to the show.
That's what I was gonna say. I mean, it's almost sad that they knew that the D-bags of the world were gonna come out strong at this show, and then they also knew that those same people would probably be like, well, at least Wong was in this episode, so that's fine for now. I mean, it sucks that they had to make the joke, but that's what the show's doing so well, is just it has that confidence to just be like, up yours, we know what we are, we know what we're doing, and if you don't like it, the show wasn't meant for you in the first place, or it was, and you're just not getting the point. So I love that little joke there.
Yeah, and it was this episode more than the other 3 so far that I can really see a future for characters like Deadpool, where they are going to be very self-aware and acknowledging things that are happening as we are seeing them happen. So like Kevin was saying, they are so good at acknowledging what people like about Marvel and how to poke fun of that thing while still being very endearing. And I can't wait for more of that style of humor.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I hope we get to see them interact at some point. I would love if at the end of this series, Jen just says something to the screen and then we just hear Wade Wilson talk back, and that would just be phenomenal. Okay, her dad stops by to beef up security, as he says, and digs a bunch of holes in the front lawn. She reminds him that she's a Hulk, she'll be fine, and I love that again because we get this like dad character coming in being like, I'm gonna be your dad, I'm gonna protect you, and she's like, I'm a freaking Hulk, I'll be fine. Back at the office, we see Jen has a ton on her to-do list, with the only thing completed is that she finished her dating profile on Matcher. And by the way, there is a QR code leading to a free comic here yet again on the Matcher app. We get West Coast Annual number 4, West Coast Avengers Annual number 4, where Jen and a bunch of other famous female heroes are forced to marry Gaur the Deviant Priest. So if you're ever interested in reading a quick comic book, and you see She-Hulk and she's wearing like a white gown along with a bunch of other female superheroes. I think Storm is there as well. And yeah, definitely check out that free comic book that Marvel has blessed us with. Wong interrupts her conversation with Nikki and requests her to help with Donny Blaze, using his past knowledge of the mystic arts for his bitrate magic show. Sadly, nothing was signed that would legally allow them to take action. She asks for his info, and she says that she'll get back to him. Now, back at the bar, Jen and Nikki wrap up Wong's cease and desist order, and a gross married dad tries and fails to pick them up. And Nikki reminds her to swipe more on her Matcher profile, and comments on how hetero life is grim. Then at Cornelius P. Willow's office, owner and curiosity curator of the Mystic Castle, we see Jen serving that cease and desist order while preventing a magical pissing contest from happening between Donny Blaze and Wong, during which Donny Blaze performs more cheap human tricks and attempts to hit on Jen while Wong performs actual magic. Guys, let's stop here for a second. Clearly, Wong is upset about Donny Blaze using his knowledge of the mystic arts for his dumb shows and putting people's lives in danger. But I want to know, do you think Wong is actually worried about the multiverse and the untethering of the material and astral planes? Or is he just more upset that Donny Blaze inadvertently ruined The Sopranos for him?
I think it's probably a bit of both. For sure,
yeah.
But definitely what you see happening later on in the episode, he has no control of where he's opening these things. Anything can come through it. So there is definitely a cause for concern in that alone. But I do think the spoiling of Sopranos is not the best. But I mean, he got a best friend out of it. So is he really going to complain that much?
Yeah, I guess that's true. But I mean, at this point in the episode, he doesn't quite. I don't think he quite thinks of Madison as his best friend just yet. I don't know. He seems less like collected than we're used to seeing. Like, I do think, the Sorcerer Supreme has a vendetta against this guy, and it's like, you're the Sorcerer Supreme. Like, if you really wanted to do something, you could. I feel like he's maybe trying to like hold himself back and go the right way with Jen's help about taking care of the situation rather than just sending him directly to the mirror dimension instantly. Because I feel like he totally could. But I also like the idea that while Donny Blaze was, at the Camartage, that he just used the mystic arts to portal in some kegs, and his buddy named Kai Dog, which is just phenomenal. It's so funny.
I mean, just think about all the shit Wong has to deal with constantly. And, and we're talking, universe ending, consequential. This guy's a peon. He's annoying. Wong just... He wants to be able to relax on the weekends and binge some shows, and so I think he could, obviously he could easily take care of this, but no. When he's doesn't have to save the whole universe, when it's this minor sort of thing, he's not gonna put the effort in to go to those lengths. I think let him just binge his shows and hang out.
Okay, all right, okay. Hopefully Wong will continue to get to binge his shows and nothing else will ever happen. It's just him and Madison watching The Sopranos forever and ever. Then back at Finley's, Jen is on a date with some douchebag named Alan who calls himself a New Yorker after only living there for 14 months. He's also an entrepreneur. I should probably know how to pronounce that. But listen, he's an entrepreneur in the field of TBD. And he doesn't even pay for the drinks. I love how epic the music is here. Like, you'd expect like this cinematic high tension sound to play during like an action scene or a heavy scene in court, but like it's just them staring down each other for who's going to pay for the overpriced alcohol. Which I want to pause here for a quick second. I want to know, on your first dates, do you pay for the meal? Do you both pay for the meal, or does the other person pay? Kevin.
I mean, I haven't been on a first date in 12 years, but I mean, I would always try. But yeah. I think when I was dating, it was starting to sort of become the norm to split the bill, and so you always try to be the chivalrous type and offer to pay, but you're not going to fight too hard on the idea of splitting the bill. I honestly think the best rule of thumb is whoever asks the other person out should be the one to pay.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think that's fair. That keeps it gender neutral and just sort of alleviates any stress there.
That's a great call.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with Kev, where usually I go for offering first, and if they say let's split it, I'm not going to be one to argue and fight that. But yeah, Kevin's whole rule of whoever asks out first should be the one to pay is totally solid in my books. But yeah, I'll split no matter what.
Yeah, I think for me, the only thing is I'll be strategic. I'll be strategic. I've had a bit too many yak milks and vodka or whatever they're drinking over there, the Camertage. I'll be a bit more strategic, where I'll make sure that I'm going to pick a place that's nice, but not too nice that it's going to cost a crazy amount of money. And then if then I can easily say, okay, well, I'll take care of it. So, but yeah, no, if the other person is very insistent on splitting, I'll split, but I don't think I'll ever let them pay. I think I don't know, call me old fashioned, but I don't like that idea. Now, speaking of overpriced alcohol, we then cut to the courtroom where Judge Hannah is not really buying Jen and Wong's case, and they bring in their only witness. That's right. Just before she does her high school dance routine, Wongers portals in Madisynn King to find to answer a few questions. She describes her experience to the court, explaining that she was pushed into a fireland where she made a pact with a demon that she cannot discuss, or he would reap her soul and all the souls of all she loves. And she hates drama. The demon, she thinks his name was Jake, opened up a portal at Wonger's house, and they became besties. Of course, this doesn't work well for Jen and Wong, but Jen manages to at least stall the judge's decision for now. Okay, so let's talk about the courtroom. Let's talk about Madisynn's experience here, because I don't give a demon's ass what you say, Jake or otherwise. This has to be Mephisto. It has to be Mephisto that she's describing. Why does Marvel keep doing this to us? Why does Marvel keep teasing us? Like, I just don't understand. It's a freaking goat having her sign a deal. It's Mephisto.
I mean, Mephisto has never really appeared as a goat in the Marvel comics. To me, I got the idea that she went to Limbo, which is connected with a Marvel character or X-Men character, Magic. So
okay.
I feel like that seems more like the likely connection, especially with the Goblin references and the Land of Fire. It seems a lot like what we have seen of Limbo in the comics, being this otherworldly dimension where demons live, and that's where magic draws her power from. So that was my original interpretation. Either way, she definitely... What was that deal, and how did it affect her?
Well, I'm almost wondering if, like... Here's my deal, though. She called him a goat named Jake. She could have been a little close to browning out in that moment and just saw a man with hooves and thought, that is a goat person named Jake. I don't know. So I really want it to be Mephisto. I think it would be incredible if Madisynn became the ambassador of Mephisto, and she like introduces him. She's like, and Mephisto with one M and one P, but it's not where you think. Or just something like that. Like, give me Madisynn, with the devil. I want to see it so bad.
I always respect your tenacity and your resolve in not giving up on this Mephisto dream. But Darcy had me sold in about 4 seconds that it's more likely to be his suggestion than yours. Sorry, Nate.
Yeah. That's fair. But I do love in this scene when she hands the guard the drink and she's like, you can finish it if you want. I'm not sick. It's just like, and her curtsy when she comes down from the stand, she does that curtsy. It's just, Honestly, it's so good, and the littlest jokes on this show are so great. And after Madison spells her name, you see Donny Blaze's magician lawyer scratch out what he wrote, because he's like, oh, I didn't write it the correct way because it's not where I thought. It's so good.
Yeah, I'm wondering how much of her performance was improv, because if that was written, kudos to whoever knew that, and kudos to the casting agent to find someone to play that out. Either way, she was incredible, and like every scene she's in, you grow to love her even more than you already think you do. So I love it. It's great. Give me more Madison.
So good. So good. All right, listen, back at Jen's place, Nikki, and as well as a no new matches notification, convinces Jen that she needs to try dating as a She-Hulk. Which, again, why is there a notification for no new matches? It's
that's so
awful.
mean. Nobody needs that notification. They're aware. You're very aware if you've had no matches.
So good. So she, we actually get to see her swiping through a few people's names. One of them, by the way, named Truck, who's dressed as a boat captain holding a cat in a matching boat captain outfit, is actually yet another partner from somebody on this production team. Lead writer Jessica Gao, who we had the opportunity to interview. That is actually her husband, Truck Torrance, and her cat, also named Admiral. So I thought that was just a really cute little addition that they were able to put in there, and I really hope that if your name is Truck Torrance, that you actually dress like a boat captain. Now, after matching with a ton of guys who mostly all just want that Hulk body yaddy yaddy, Jen finds a guy who actually wants to get to know her, and he's a pediatric oncologist who wants to hear more about her and even split some fries. And she's like, let's get those fries to go. And they go back to Jen's place. Now, before Jen finds this hunky doctor, there is one of her dates that I did want to call out. He creepily refers to her as an incredible specimen, talks about would vibranium, pierce her skin, and she's like, do you want to try it? And he's like kind of into it. And so I'm just curious, clearly this is a red Hulk. This is a red flag. Do either of you have any theories on this guy, or is he just a creep, or is something going on here?
Again, I keep looking for mutant references wherever I can, and the way he called her specimen just made me think of Mr. Sinister, a known genetic, scientist who has experimented on countless mutants over the generations, all in the search of immortal life. And I mean, if you're looking for immortal life, an indestructible body is probably a pretty good place to start. So that's why that's the vibes I was getting off this creepy dude. A bit of Nathaniel Essex, Mr. Sinister stuff.
Oh, intriguing. I literally just looked up Mr. Sinister on Google, and there's a picture of John Hamm next to Mr. Sinister, and I'm like, holy crap, that actually really works. Wow. Sorry, Kevin, you were going to say something.
Oh, no. That would be awesome casting. Absolutely. I just want to do a quick ding, 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 former wrestler alert. The first guy she dates, Derek, who's interested in what she can bench press,
right,
is actually Mr. Jennifer Hudson, David Otunga, who wrestled in the WWE for about 3 years. Never really got very big, but I always thought he had great chops on the mic, and he was really good here, just as that sort of musclehead jerk. And just another quick note: he's also a Harvard graduate in the field of law. So there's a little, a little education there.
That.
So yeah, anytime I see somebody who's done something for the WWE, I'll from now on ring the bell 3 times and call it a former wrestler alert.
I love it. I hope we get a ton of former wrestlers in this series.
This is our first in 4 years of doing the podcast, so we'll see.
We'll see how many more we get in these Marvel Watch Clubs. I think, you know what? Maybe this is the guy that hired the Wrecking Crew. We saw last week, we got the Wrecking Crew, and they were like, the boss won't be happy, and they already tried to pierce her skin with a needle, and so maybe he's really trying to figure out from her. I kind of like the idea that, maybe he's trying to somebody pointed out, I think it was New Rockstars pointed out, that he's got a ring on his finger that looks like Dreykov's ring in Black Widow. So I think it would be actually really cool if maybe he's trying to combine the Widow program and the Super Soldier program, and he thinks She-Hulk might be his opportunity to do this. I think it might be a really interesting idea of I know last week we sort of speculated that it was the leader, but I don't know. Maybe this guy is more than meets the eye. Maybe he comes back. I don't know.
I have a theory about the Wrecking Crew myself, but we'll get to that later on in the episode.
Okay. You let me know when. Back at Donny Blaze's show, he's got a slightly more interested audience this time around. That is until he pulls out literal demons from a portal that all start attacking the crowd. He portals directly to Wong for help, which I think, Darcy, you mentioned earlier that he just portals randomly. I think if you're under duress, you can maybe learn how to focus your portals a little bit more. So I think he was just really stressed out, really freaked out in that moment, and just like figured it out.
Or maybe the only place you can consistently open to is Kamartaj, because that's where he was learning to train. That was my instinct, is that's where he's most familiar with geographically or whatever, magically type thing. So that was why he could easily hop back over there.
I like the idea that there's a little switch on the sling ring that just says like, when you have toys
Return
and there's
sender?
like, well, no, like, when there's like toys in the toy shop, again, I'm drinking the yak's milk, where it's like one of them is like store demo and then one of them is like real life, right? I think he just flips it back to store demo and he can go right back to the Kamartaj. So he flips it to store demo and finds Wong, and Wong is in the middle of watching This Is Us. And just as things are getting hot and heavy with Jen and her hunky doctor, Wong portals in and pulls Jen in to help out. She stomps the demon goo out of them as they portal back to what looked like Wondergore Mountain. Darcy, did you get Wondergore Mountain vibes at one point?
I don't know, really. Again, It's hard to say if that was even in our dimension, because they were coming from that one limbo. I don't think he'd be throwing them to somewhere else in the world to deal with at a later point.
That's true.
Seems kind of lazy.
get them into a completely different dimension. Another Wong has to deal with it, I guess. She threatens Donny into accepting the cease and desist, and she portals back in to bang it out with the hunky doc. Jen wakes up to more bad news. She keeps waking up to bad news that Titania, I don't know how I'm going to say that going forward, has now been released with the hashtag Free Titania. The hunky doc comes in to discover Jen is not in Hulk form, and he hastily leaves like a big jerk that he is. Hot doctors are a cliche anyways. Then the episode ends with Jen being served papers letting her know that Titania is suing her over trademark infringement over the name She-Hulk. Kind of a bummer way to end the episode, which is why we had an incredible tag of now my two favorite characters from this entire series, Madisynn and Wongers, hanging out, talking about all their favorite drinks while just munching on some popcorn in onesies. And I just want them to be together forever and ever, and it's just so lovely. That is the end of the episode. Is there anything you guys want to add before we get into predictions, or do you just want to jump into predictions?
So, I mean, first thing I wanted to say is I'm wondering if Wong is, puts up with her only because he's curious about this deal. That is the one thing that was going through my mind, is that he's putting up with her because he's concerned for her. And I'm hoping that means that we get more of her going forward.
Yeah.
My other part can wait for predictions, though.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Interesting. I like that.
No, I think look at Wong. Strange always treats him like crap. Is always doing stuff to annoy him and put him through stuff. She's genuinely sweet and loves her BFF. I mean, I think as he's reluctantly very much into their little friendship. I think so. He's there. I'm shipping those two as besties all day long.
Yeah, it doesn't need to get romantic or anything.
Oh
just
gosh, no! They're just hanging
best friends.
They're gonna be they're gonna be binge buddies.
Gabbing,
They're literally Netflix and chilling.
That's
it. Stress on the Netflix,
Yes, absolutely. A little less on the chilling.
Well, maybe Disney Plus and chill.
Oh, there we go. Is Sopranos on Disney Plus? I don't think it is.
I doubt. No, it would be on HBO Max.
HBO Max, right? Okay. All right, well, let's jump into our prediction segment, which we call My Closing Statement, Your Honor, Is. And guys, now that we have confirmation that Titania is going to play a role in this series after 4 episodes, it took this long. First of all, I want to know, is it too late? And do you think first I want to know, is it too late? And how do you think this is going to shake out for Jen? Kevin, start off with My Closing Statement, Your Honor, Is.
My closing statement, Your Honor, is I give up on predictions. I've never been good at them, and the only prediction I did for the show is that we weren't going to see Titania anymore, and now it's clear she's going to have a significant role in the show. So I'm clearly not the one to do this. I'm not a reliable witness. I have too many brownout moments. So yeah. I do think it's going to be a pain in the ass for Jen, and I think the only thing this show needs is to kind of have a central obstacle for her to start dealing with. I think we've sort of mulled around on the episode to episode basis. I think we need something that's going to run through the rest of the show, and so hopefully this is the start of that.
Yeah, totally. Darcy, how about yourself?
My closing statement, Your Honor, is I believe that the Wrecking Crew may have been hired by Titania, because in my head, I was just wondering, why is she filing for She-Hulk? And the legal system, as we know, can be kind of a slow, grueling pace sometimes. So I can only imagine that she had trademarked the name and then was like, I'm going to go get those powers so I can be the She-Hulk. But then her getting the powers plan failed, maybe. I mean, I'm just coming from this because in the comics, her and her boyfriend, Crusher Creel, the Absorbing Man, are known to have close ties with the Wrecking Crew at points. So that's just where I'm wondering if we're maybe going to see that lead into again. I don't know. I'm a big comic fan, and I'm looking for any of those reasons to see Crusher Creel on the screen.
As Tony Soprano would say, forget about it. Darcy, you nailed it. That's it. That's it. You got it.
Well, I mean, I will say yes and also maybe not, because, I mean, this show has done away with a lot of the comic book aspects of this character already and changed up her origin story to kind of make things and move things along. My closing statement, Your Honor, is I think she's definitely going to be a big part of the show going forward with all the marketing they've done with Jamila Jamil and this character being such a horrible person. However, they really are emphasizing how terrible a person she is. I'm wondering if this is a bait and switch, if this is a fake out. And she starts off being a terrible person, but just like how Jen has to come to terms with living as a Hulk, she also finds ways to come to terms with her differences with Titania. And I'm wondering, because I know last week we predicted that the leader might be the big bad, or we might get Wilson Fisk showing up as maybe a more menacing part of this series, or especially with Daredevil coming in. I'm just like, I don't think they can stuff this too much with big bad guys. Like, we know that in previous series that really hasn't worked, and look at Miss Marvel, right, where we're just like, I wish they had either the DODC or the Jinn, or whatever those people were called.
Clandestines?
The clandestines. Thank you. Sorry. You can clearly tell how memorable they were for me. I really don't want that to be the case for this show. I think the show works so much better when it is a little bit more on the lighter side. So if they want to start getting a little heavier with it, focus on one bad character, and maybe bring in Jamila Jamil, because she's so lovely in real life. So I can't see myself hating her for too long.
Well, again, in the more recent comics, both Crusher Creel and Titania have become more of the anti-hero good guys, but have bad past type thing. So I would totally buy that as a character arc for Titania. I want any reason to see Crusher Creel, because he's one of my favorite bad guys. The ability to become anything he touches, so many cool potentials there.
That's crazy. Wow. I've never heard of that guy. So that sounds fantastic. All right, well, listen, let's get to our overall thoughts and final score, which we're going to give our final score on a rating of 1 to 5 drops of Madisyn's blood. Kevin, I'll get you to start us off.
This was definitely my favorite episode of the series so far. Like I just mentioned, I do think that we need to start figuring out what the major issue is going to be, and we need to start, not that we haven't sort of been building in terms of character development from episode to episode, but I do think we need to start getting some sort of overarching story that will carry us through to the end. But that said, I think the writing here was just terrific. It was the funniest episode by far. The introduction of MADISYNN just had me swooning for her, and just I loved every second she was on my screen. And so I'm going to give this the highest score that I've given it so far. Honestly, I'm just so tired of the negativity coming towards the show.
Yeah.
There's clearly an agenda coming from it, because people were saying stuff about the show before they even saw an episode.
Yeah.
The only negative criticism that I've seen about the show that I would have to agree on is some of the CGI work is a little shoddy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why whenever she's in a suit as She-Hulk, it looks like a video game cutscene. I mean, at least when she's in, say, a tank top and I don't understand why they can use the body double there, but not when she's wearing a suit. They almost go full CGI with her there. And, you know, if you don't have the budget to pull something like that off, I think it is a bit of a hindrance. It's a little bit distracting at times. But again, that's just a small little nitpick. I'm enjoying the show way too much to have that bug me, and I love how once again in this episode they just very subtly, knowingly flip the bird to those who might have silly, contrived issues with the show. Like, just keep it up. You guys know what you're doing, you know who you are, and it's awesome. So I am going to give this a solid, and if this is my highest score, I'll be of the whole season. I'm fine, just because of how much I really did enjoy it. If they can top this, all right. I'm going to go with a 4.6 out of 5 drops of Madisynn blood.
Okay, all righty. Darcy, how about yourself?
Yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was like a much needed advancement of character, humor, everything. I already liked the series going up until this point, but this episode knocked it out of the park for me with the theories that I was able to come up with from all those random little nods to the introduction of Madisynn and her relationship with Wong. I found every aspect of that in this episode to be brilliant. So I think this is also my highest score of the series. And I'll be giving it a 4.8 out of 5 drops of Madisynn's blood. And I'm only going, I would go all the way to that 5, but I think to do that for this series, I need to have some payoff from one of these theories I'm coming from, or even something out of left field, because I'm all for being surprised.
Totally. Yeah, I kind of am right there with both of you on the aspect of, like, I do want to see where this is all going, and we need a little bit more of that. And I really think with Titania coming back, that is going to be the kickoff. And we're almost with that episode. With the next episode, we'll kind of be at the halfway point of this series of 9 episodes. So it makes a lot of sense that that's going to be really where we put things into overdrive. Now, this has been absolutely my favorite episode of the series so far. It is the funniest episode that I think we've seen. I love how it plays with the more serious subject matter of the multiverse in such a fun and, like, compelling way. Donny Blaze and his hype man Cornelius are honestly a perfect follow-up to last week's light elf problem that we had, and I think that they were a bit better than that joke as well. I think that gag maybe was a little stretched thin, even though it was such a short runtime last week. This one fits just perfectly. And I also just like how, that one didn't feel like it really had any dire consequences, whereas this one actually does. And it brings in a great little action moment at the end of the episode, so we still got to see some Hulk stomping and Hulk punching and stuff like that. It's got more Wong, which, as Jen points out, who doesn't love Wong? He really is Twitter armor. Jen going on dates as She-Hulk was such a great gag as well. And of course, the MVP of the episode, of the series for me, Madisynn, was just incredibly well done. I'm here for the true cinematic universe. I'm calling it the Madisynn-matic universe. I'm giving this episode 4.5 drops of Madisynn's blood out of 5. Mephisto can't have all 5 drops just yet. Okay, I'm not signing that full contract just yet. We'll have to wait and see how this series kind of completes itself. All right, well, that is it for this week's episode of Watch Club for Marvel's She-Hulk Attorney at Law. We hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure to subscribe to us wherever you like to listen to podcasts if you haven't already. And if you want to write into the show with your thoughts or predictions on the shows we cover in Watch Club, well, I'm going to Hulk swipe on the app, over to Kevin to let you know how you can reach us.
Well, you can always reach us at wearegeekcentric@gmail.com. That's wearegeekcentric@gmail.com. But if that's a little bit like drinking some leftover yak milk, why don't you hit us up on Twitter at GeekcentricYT or on Instagram at wearegeekcentric.
Amazing. Thank you. Yeah, I love the Yak's Milk, dude. Where can we get more of that? I want to get more of that. Keep in mind, we also have a ton of other episodes covering the latest and greatest shows and movies out now, as well as we have a lot of interviews up on the channel recently with, we interviewed Mater himself, Daniel Whitney, a.k.a. Larry the frickin' Cable Guy. Kevin, did you see I talked to Larry the Cable Guy?
You got her done, bud. You got her done.
I got her done, dude. I got her done. We also interviewed Pinocchio's composer, Alan Silvestri, and songwriter Glenn Ballard. Justin had a chance to sit down with them. And I also interviewed Barbarian director Zach Kreger. So go check out all those interviews here on the podcast feeds, as well as on YouTube at youtube.com/geekcentric. We also have our spoiler-free reviews for Disney's Pinocchio, as well as Disney's and Pixar's Cars on the Road. Cars on the Road, which, definitely check out Cars on the Road. It's so lovely. Also, if that's not enough for you, we got back from Fan Expo from our first time as press, and we dropped a lot of content from on our YouTube channel from that expo, where we actually talked to 6 different Canadian artists and brands who are making some really awesome geeky stuff that we probably bought most of it at the convention. So definitely go check out our conversations with them. Plus, we have our weekly This Week in Geek episodes where we break down the latest news and trailers, usually every Wednesday. However, our schedule and timing for these next couple, or I guess we'll call them special edition This Week in Geek episodes, are going to be a little bit different. Just with D23 Expo happening right now, there is so many amazing things happening. So we're kind of recording in sort of segments day to day, and we'll be popping out all of our thoughts on everything from the Marvel Games panel, the Disenchanted trailer, the Little Mermaid trailer. There is so much going on, and you have to check out our socials to kind of keep track of it all. Definitely like and subscribe. Click on all the things. Please check out all that wonderful content and leave a 5-star review if you don't mind. Darcy, Kevin, I'm just about done my vodka tonic or whatever I'm drinking right now. Thank you so much for joining me for this Watch Club. And as we say,
Wongers!